with just like a non sequitur, or
I hate those podcasts though.
like a post credit sequence with whatever random funniness that it happened.
Well, all of our best stuff happens before the podcast actually starts.
All
Jump
of the
right in.
best stuff.
All of it.
Yeah.
Everybody's missing out.
I actually really regret not recording our first meeting together when we were coming up with the show. Like, that was good. Like, I was like, oh, I said a pretty good joke back there, and
I don't remember much of that meeting.
I don't remember
having
Vince
the meeting.
ever saying anything funny.
Vince has
ever.
never been funny ever.
No.
But yeah, I was I wanted to record that so badly because it's basically the show developing right in front of us. So that's actually appropriate. So let's
and
start
in spite of us.
Yes. So let's start the show non-proper like. I'm gonna leave that cold opening in there. A few Goldilock Bears podcast with Vincent Cloud,
John Nemitz,
and Matt Hagen.
and this is a loose, jazzy version of the show. Yeah.
Duke Silver.
I do not get that one.
That's Parks and Rec.
Oh, yes.
Deja Vu.
Ron.
It's Ron Swanson's alter ego.
Yep. Well, let's start the show off with a old segment called A Goldie Look Behind the Scenes.
Oh.
Where Matt had this idea where he's like, what if we just kind of like, we only bring three items in. And like today I have an indifference, Matt has a hate, John has a love. And then for longevity of the show, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty good idea and stuff like that. So, but I also wanted to change the entire series title to fewer Goldilock Bears.
I mean, I like the title. I like the change, but let's just experiment. So let's just...
Well, like Matt had the idea, and at first I was like, I don't know, but I just started to run with it. I was like, and then we could have seasons and stuff like that, like 3 episode long seasons, because we're going to run into our first gap. That's another Goldie look behind the scenes. Yeah, because John, I mean, if we don't record 2 episodes, John's going to be absent for like a
right. But
week.
What I've been trying to say is that we can just record an extra episode next Monday, and then another episode like after I get back the next week.
Right.
So there wouldn't be a gap.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying if we don't do that, we will have our first gap ever.
God forbid we have a gap. I don't understand. But this is your world. I don't care. I don't care if we have a gap. Our audience doesn't care. In fact, our audience would love a gap. Jeez, give them a break.
Now, with the new format though, do you feel like each topic has to be more significant now? Because before I could just be like, oh, I love tacos, and like, that fizzles out after a couple of minutes. Who cares?
I mean, I could go on tacos for a while if I was prepared. But no, it doesn't have to be more significant, I don't think. I mean, it can be less significant. It just gives us more time to BS and go off on tangents, I think. Because sometimes I just feel like I've had a couple times where I've wanted to interject something, and I'm like, we got 9 of these things. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it alone. And then Vince is always moving on.
Which apparently is a big trigger word for Matt. That and me referring to the changes as the new format.
2 words. Well,
that was like, stop saying it's
format. It's the same format. It's just less topics. That's all it is. That's all it is. And then there's going to be less of, is it my turn? Is it your turn? My turn, your turn. We're going to have less of that too. Because
right.
So anyway,
well,
it'll be good.
Well, all I have to say is with the 9 topics, I like the speediness of it. It's just like my movie recollection, It's like, ooh, let's just get in and out, But I do agree that some topics could be explored way more. But I just love the pacing. That's all it is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like. I think the pacing's cool. It's good. It has its place, but I think it's better to be more loosey goosey. I think, and yes, longevity, like Like I was legit like, all right, what are my favorite albums of all time? Because I'm going to start, eventually I'm going to need all of these if we start going for years and years. But we'll see how it goes.
I was more concerned about the hates. Like, how am I gonna keep coming up with things I hate when I care about so little in this life?
Yeah, I feel that in my bones.
My fear was I ran out of loves. I don't love anything else.
What am I doing with my life? Bang.
Midlife crisis time in season 3. But yeah, let's
another look behind the scenes here by everybody's flexibility tonight. I take it we're all indifferent to Valentine's Day.
I was going to mention that. Yeah, good point. No Valentine's plans? No, I mean, when you have kids, you don't have any plans ever. So that's my perspective. Go ahead.
Yeah, my wife is not particularly into Valentine's Day being a real thing. So yeah, nothing for us either.
Lucky you.
Yes, in many ways.
That's pretty
Vince?
sweet. I don't think I've ever really heard of that. I mean, I'm like, it doesn't, I know it's possible, but I haven't really heard of someone saying like, fuck Valentine's Day and shit like that. It's mostly if you're single, you know, that's when you hate it. But she was the opposite. You changed her, John.
Or that's why you married her.
Exactly. John is the indifference planet from Futurama. Tell my wife I said hello.
What makes a good man go neutral?
That's a deja vu.
Yeah.
Hey, I think it was last week off camera we were talking about the Rick and Morty creator. What's his name? Fighting with Dan Harmon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's that guy's name? Roiland. Yeah. So I didn't know anything about him. He apparently does the voice of Rick and Morty. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. And
boy, that's kind of a tough guy to lose. But go ahead.
Oh, really? So you haven't been keeping up with it? Well, it's they're already. I don't think they officially recast his voice yet, but they are going to do that. You know, one of the things I thought of, because when I mentioned it, I was like, I hate that fucking Morty voice, you know? So if they could get something else, that'd be fine. But in terms of Rick, I always thought it was Dan Harmon doing the voice. I thought that was him.
I think I was under the same impression, I think, even though I didn't.
I know.
Yeah, of the same thing. So, but
one more time, Matt, you froze up there for like 2 seconds.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was under the same impression that Dan Harmon does the voice of Rick. So
no, he had to focus on being bird person.
Bird person. So I apparently there was like some domestic abuse stuff against Roiland. What's his first name?
Justin.
Yeah. I was going to say Josh, but that wasn't right. Justin Roiland. So apparently there was some domestic abuse stuff that came out like 2 years ago, and it kind of just came to the surface. I don't know. I was doing a little bit of reading, so I don't know if that kind of set things in motion where it's like, well, we probably shouldn't have this guy around or whatever. I don't know. Did you guys hear anything about that?
Yes.
Only the headline.
Okay.
Yeah, and I read the articles. I read a few. Yeah, and like I said, him and Dan Harmon didn't get along after a while, I think like into season 2. But it's funny because I remember when they would do a behind the scenes stuff, Dan Harmon is like, and then I would break it down to like the hero circle of storytelling and shit like that. Because and they would talk about writing, other writers would, and then they would always say like, and then Justin would burst into the room and say like, hey, I'm Mr. Sneezy Pants, and then run off. And we're like, let's turn that into a character. So he was just a mouthpiece or a soundboard or something, you know? Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah, and like, because all the like the interdimensional cable stuff, wasn't that just like kind of improv stuff they were coming up with and then animated it basically?
Which I liked in a way, but in a way it was super annoying because it's like, okay, again, with the meta-ness of it, where we're like, okay, we're aware it's a show, but where does that pay off? Why doesn't Morty question that? You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, that was a deja vu, right?
Yeah, well, and then Dan Harmon just he seems to kind of not get along with a lot of people sometimes, or like a long-standing relationship kind of breaks down. I mean, you see it quite often. So I don't know. Every time I see Dan Harmon, he seems like a jolly, nice guy, but I'm sure he's very controlling and all of that sort of stuff. And maybe his ideas he thinks are best. And I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
exactly.
like I listened to the entire run of the what is it? Harmontown podcast.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting because he like admits like how shitty he can be sometimes, and like I think like regrets it, but for a long time was not making any effort to change, and then I think eventually did start making an effort to be that way less often and stuff. But yeah, it's an interesting guy for sure.
Well, that's good that he can recognize that he has, issues. Like I feel kind of the same way. Like as I get older, I feel like my patience just continues to wear thin in just like all aspects of life. Just I have less patience now, and I recognize I have less patience now. And I have to consciously tell myself, okay, be patient. I don't know if it's the same kind of idea, but I kind of get that.
I feel the opposite about myself actually. Like I feel like I got crabbier when I was younger. And now I just see more things as like, that doesn't affect me at all. Like whatever.
You just let it roll right off, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Like
Well, I
off
think
the duck's back.
Yeah, quack babies, man. Well, I'll go next. Putting it in the same sort of I think I mentioned it before where it's like I realized that my default setting just led to like depression and shit like that. Anger as well and shit like that. And after a while I was like, I don't want to be that way. I don't know. What can I do to possibly change? So there are like little mental notes that I basically have to apply every day. It's like trying not to drink a Coors Light.
Coors Light is not a sponsor.
Yeah. But like,
no matter how tasty that silver bullet hits you.
Oh yeah. Basically depression, anger were the cold mountains, where I'm like, damn it, that looks good. But I just didn't want to be that way anymore. So yeah, I'm a lot more loose. I try to be more upbeat, shit like that. Yeah.
That is fascinating. So is there some sort of trick? Like it seems it's like you start to feel down and then just all of a sudden you just consciously think, don't be down, think of something happy, or just look at the little things in life, or just any of that.
Yeah, there's plenty of that. There's even like little mental tricks, you could say. Matt, you mentioned how like eating spinach was like kind of tricking yourself into being healthier. Yeah, that's kind of like what I have to do. And as soon as I realized that, I remember jotting it down. I'm like, holy shit, if I remind myself, blah, blah, blah. But like there are mental tricks, like when you call people up, what is that called? Something.
Telephone?
Telemarketing.
What are we doing? Oh, okay. Yeah. I see what you said. Job.
But anyways, one of the
that is a telephone,
notes,
Vince.
Yeah.
Ring, ring.
Yes, ring, ring. One of the notes is like before you answer or whatever, make sure to smile. That actually puts you in a good mood. Yeah. And like that's been said in so many areas. So it's that sort of stuff. I will be fucking honest as hell. Weed has really helped me. It just kind of reverts me to a younger sense of wonder or something. Like I don't know. It really relaxes me, and I'm fucking high right now. So yeah.
Oh.
But I always am. So there's, you know.
Well, I didn't know you were always high, so I'll make sure to put that into perspective every time I talk to you.
Have you guys seen the experiment where like they have like groups of people and they have some people put like a pencil sideways in their mouth, so it's like forced to mimic a smile, and another group like holds it in their lips, so it's like mimicking a frown, and like the smiling people literally end up being in better moods than the frowning people by the end of the experiment.
It's awesome.
No, I've never heard that. So they keep the pencil in their mouth for a day or a couple hours?
No, like yeah, like
fucking torture.
like a half hour, or however long the experiment
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Okay.
No one would be smiling for a whole day.
But
Oh,
just having the pencil in your mouth for an hour just makes your entire day better. Is that the conclusion?
Oh, I don't know the longevity of the good mood,
Okay,
but
okay.
while they're doing it, and like shortly thereafter.
Okay.
What kind of mood can you be if you deep throat that pencil for an hour? It is Valentine's Day after all.
A
How
sexy
romantic.
To the eraser, bitch. Oh, and then I do have to give these guys a lot of credit for my mental whatever. Buddhism.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I read a book that kind of was along with Buddhism. It was very scientific. It was very nonfiction, which again, that's all I read now. I don't know why, but Buddhism, it really struck a chord with me. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. I took an Eastern philosophy class in college, and they talked about Taoism and Confucianism and Buddhism and all that. And that's like literally the only class I remember anything from, just because there's been like so much stuff from there that it's just like a great way to like look at the world and process things.
Yeah, for sure.
Particularly, I don't know. I like Taoism and Buddhism both a lot.
I don't know if
I
I've
will
read into it.
have to do some research. So is there like a one main guiding principle from Buddhism that you follow, Vince, or just the overall philosophy?
One of the greatest aspects is that they're like, if we're wrong about something, we're glad to know it because we want to know the truth. You know, we're not going to latch onto our old beliefs, you know, like that is one of the key things that really helped me. You know, it's like, no, I mean, I would love to be proven wrong about some stuff because again, my default setting is like, nah, people are shit. And you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. That's good. Let's see. I've got a couple deja vus that I wrote down. So the Super Bowl just happened, and I was happy not to see any Charmin Bears commercials. I just wanted to mention that. I was just in the back of my mind, I was kind of looking for a Charmin Bear commercial, but there's actually a couple funny ones. But also our Christmas decorations are still up in our house, inside our house, and it's bothering me. And I let Amy know that it's bothering me. It's Valentine's Day. Is that too long to have Christmas decorations up inside your house?
Probably.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
Well, maybe.
than,
Yeah. Go on.
oh, I was saying longer than we did, being we never had any. So I'm not really qualified to make that call, but
Well, it's funny. We took the Christmas decorations from outside our house down because it was a really nice day out and there was going to be a snowstorm coming. So it's like, all right, well, let's get all the outside stuff together and so that we don't have to dig it out of the snow at some point. But all the inside stuff stays up. I don't know. But as you can see from my background, I actually decorated my basement. These are actual Christmas lights up. I did that for the kid's birthday party, and I actually like it. I think I'm just going to leave it because I like that secondary source of light instead of turning the big lights on. So I think I'm just going to leave that. And that's going to be up all the time.
oh, it's no longer a Christmas decoration. It's just
Lighting, just the way it is.
I like it. Um, should we? Wait. Well, do we have a day show few? I think they'll pop up when we get there. But
Well, John, you said you have a vacation coming up, right? You going on a cruise?
Heck no.
Where you going?
Actually, I have to go to Vegas for work. It's our company's sales kickoff, and I'm doing some training for some of the salespeople. Then I'm gonna visit my folks down in Arizona afterwards because it's only like an hour and a half away from Vegas.
Whoa. Are your folks snowbirds then?
Yep.
Okay. I get it. I get it.
oh
What-
right.
Wait, so you have to train salespeople, and
Mhm.
we've had many topics centered around kind of sales tactics and such. How does
Oh.
that work out for you? Like what kind of training are we talking about exactly?
So I train them on what our competitors are and like how to beat our competitors.
Okay, so these are these are real salespeople. They've already learned all their sales tactics, but you're just giving them information essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not going to tell you how to sell anything, but just be aware, like if you're going up against this competitor, here's where they're going to be good, so avoid these topics. Here's where they suck, so really like go into these areas and that kind of stuff.
Sweet. Love it.
Wow, I'm going to apply those lessons next time I want to sell something. Well, hey guys, I actually want to start the show, or at least get to my topic, because we
Yeah.
actually we're kind of talking about creativity of a
Mhm.
show, you know.
Mhm.
So I want to get into my indifference, and that is, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I believe that all three of us love that show. And I believe
Well,
that
at
if
least
you
two of us. One.
Well, yeah. So
Well,
you
hold
say
on,
we
though.
all love it.
Hold on
Go ahead.
though.
Go ahead.
If you love something, you should be able to say like, hey, maybe not drink all night because you got to work tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like you could criticize it, or helpful things, and that's how I feel about this. So yeah, lots of stuff that I liked about it. It's very funny, but I also think it started to take a turn a little bit. I might say that it peaked for me in season 9. What season are they on now? 14?
18, 17. I don't know. It feels like it's got to be 16, right?
It does feel that way, especially that last one. Jesus Christ. So all right, hold on. I got some shit written down.
All right.
Just all right. So I have some bullet points here that but I'm gonna try and take it slow, man. Smooth. Oh shit, we can't. 10 minutes left.
You're going to talk for 10 minutes? Great.
Yeah, that's the key. I could really take my time and dig in. So after a while, though, the show, I would start to recognize the patterns, and I would get bored with it, and that's just me, like it's fine. But what bothers me is that Dennis starts to just talk to the group and just break everything down. It's like, damn it, we always do this, and blah 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 blah. He just breaks down characterization, basically, right? He does
Like
that
in a meta kind of way, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's true. What he says is true, but I already know that. You don't have to sum it up for me, but he does this all the time. He says we do this all the time. One of the worst episodes for me in terms of that was the trapped in a closet thing, where that's all he was doing was saying, damn it, we always I'm like, shut the fuck up. Oh God, this is annoying. But so there's that, right? I think it's called flanderization, where you take one aspect of someone and you just blow it up to proportions that are just ridiculous, kind of like yeah.
Is that based on Ned Flanders from The
Yes.
Simpsons? Okay, I was going to say, what is that?
But there's inconsistencies with the writing as well that kind of make other episodes kind of lose its whatever. Like, for instance, in the roller rink episode where they're back in the 80s or 90s or something like that, right? And Dee's like this sweet, innocent girl, you know, the whole time. And we're just waiting like, okay, what happens? What happens? What's the payoff? And she hits her head and becomes instantly annoying fucking bitch, right? But what about when that their real father was like, God damn it, you know, Frank turned my children into monsters. That is so much more effective than, oh, she bumped her head. You know, like, it was funny at that moment for that episode, but it just doesn't track. You know, it's I don't like the what is it called? Retroactive something.
Yeah, retconning.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
like so like the later Futuramas kind of did that, where like they kind of, you know, because they play with time travel in that, and they'll make something have happened in the past to explain something else. But it's like, no, like the old reason for that was way more satisfying, and that kind of sucks now.
Is that when they say that they push Fry into the freezer or whatever, right?
Yeah, like that
Something
stuff
like that.
doesn't bother me so much, but I don't. But yeah, like I guess, yeah, there was an episode where they kept revisiting that particular scene, and they just kept on adding more and more to it. Like, but yeah,
Is it? I want to guess which one it is. Is it that Bender was created or protected by what's his name, Hermes? Is it that?
oh yeah, that was a thing. Another thing was where Fry was like the whaler or whatever, and then
Oh yeah.
that he ended up like actually like living a full life with the dog, and it's like, okay, well, you just took the emotional impact away from the dog episode now.
Mhm.
Like that was the main one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Okay, and then oh my gosh, this is by far, I think this might be my most hated episode of theirs, and I don't even know if I wrote the title down correctly. Waiting for Big Mo. You guys know what that
Not
no.
off the
is?
top of my
No?
head.
Where they're in they're playing laser tag, and Dennis once again is saying, "Oh, we always do this. Like, Charlie, you can't read, and Frank is just a messy guy, and like." But all they're doing the entire episode is basically saying, "Why do we do this? People think that we're not going to go on, you know." And Big Mo is apparently new shows, new comedies, or something like that. It is one of the most up their own ass episodes I've ever seen, just in general, any show. You know, that's all they're doing. They're sitting around talking about something that we as audiences don't give a damn about. You know, apparently they play laser tag, and they've been doing it a long time, and it's getting harder now, and we have our disagreements and shit like that. It is so fucking, like, I was so over it. I was like, do I even want to watch the show if they're gonna be fucking sucking their own dicks the whole time?
I think you're getting too worked up. I think you're looking into
You wanted this. You
looking into
wanted this.
looking into these details in later seasons. I just to compare, like, I love The Simpsons, but I honestly have not watched much of The Simpsons beyond season 10. I think it's perfectly okay for me to say The Simpsons is one of my favorite shows of all time. But, you know, I've really only seen up to season 10. That season 10 is plenty. Sunny, you said season 9, up to season 9. I think that's plenty. Sunny's a great show. I mean, you can just kind of still love it just up to season 9. Know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, then in that case, why do I even bother bringing these things up? I'm trying to say, I love the show. But there are these weird fucking decisions. So let's get into that. Young writers. So when Danny DeVito was brought onto the show, he told Rob McElhenney, he's like, you know what, I like working with you guys because you're young writers. You keep me relevant. You know, it's something fresh. And Rob McElhenney, with his fucking, I don't know, he goes in weird directions, and he's lame. So he's like, young writers. So he makes sure to hire younger writers all the time now, so he can stay relevant. But I did my research. Sorry, Matt, for looking into the show so much. But the writers, my favorite episodes are written by fucking Rickety Cricket, David Hornsby.
Yeah,
He's
been
been
a
there
writer
from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, Mac makes these decisions. Rob makes these decisions where it's like, no, dude, your heart's in the right place, but it's just not right. It's not correct. We covered him in the first episode about all his weird acting choices and stuff like that. All right, hold on. Are we getting close to the end here?
Not close enough. Have younger writers made the show relevant to younger viewers, perhaps? And you're just not that target demo anymore?
It could be. I think the youngest episode or whatever would be the where they're like, they have a jumper, someone's gonna kill themselves on the roof, so they're like, let's talk about the algorithm. Like that's fresh. Or like, oh my god, when they're texting each other the whole time at the zoo, it's just a bunch of text jokes. I don't know. I'm starting to feel deflated because I'm like, well, the more I go into this, the more Matt's going to be like, you're looking too much into it, bro.
No, my point is to try to kind of take the other side. It's like, why can't you just love a show for what you love about the show? But I understand what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying, but I just don't understand why it bothers you so much. You've done so much research and looked into the show so much. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Not having seen the texting at the zoo episode, that totally just sounds like boomers making fun of youth culture, doesn't it? Like I don't know, like maybe the jokes were actually good. But
Matt, you saw that episode, right?
I don't remember. I've probably seen it. I just don't recall exactly.
It's not really ripping into texting. It is text the whole time, and it's text jokes. Like if you get that, where someone says K, that means they're being curt. They're mad at you, So, but that's the joke. They're like, you don't get K? Well, that means this.
Vince, let's get this Buddhism kicking in. What are we doing here?
Oh, Buddhism. What do you mean?
Calm down.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
yeah, Vince, don't you think it's your attachment to the idea that Always Sunny can continue to pump out good episodes being the problem?
Thank you, John. You're more articulate than I am in a lot of cases. Yeah, that's kind of my point. It's like, why can't we just be happy with what we have?
What? Okay, so
go ahead.
I apologize.
Get your other bullet points.
I apologize for displaying passion.
Don't ever apologize on
that.
This
is a great.
do your other bullet points. Let's go.
I'm sorry for frightening the children.
just consider your blood pressure. That's all.
Oh God. Okay. Well, hey, okay. I remember the few times that my dad said something to the equivalency of like, something. He's like, because I was getting yelled at by my mom and dad, and they're like, you don't do that, blah blah blah, and finally my dad was like, if we didn't care, like if we didn't love you, we wouldn't bring this up. We would just let you run off and do whatever you want, And that was I was like, oh shit, that's deep, Dad. I didn't say that, but I was like,
I say that to my kids every day. It doesn't seem to do anything, but go on.
Well, you're overplaying that hand, I guess.
Oh God. All right. Well,
just think of all the phrases and references that Sunny has graced us with. I mean,
okay, we could do
brown out, kitten mittens, rum ham,
white
milk, bird law, wild card bitches. I always bust out wild card bitches.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the reason why I ask about spaghetti policy whenever I go into a movie theater. You know what
I mean? That is good.
I mean,
okay, you know what? I think, again, more apologies. I should have brought up all the stuff I loved about the show before going into the stuff that I hate. I know this is coming off as a hate, but it really isn't. I'm trying to say is that there are things there are problems, not just for the show, but in general, that I don't care for, that they kind of got into,
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. If I could
And I guess I'm
continue
saying
on.
no, I'm just saying no show is perfect. There is no perfect show. Like I love South Park, but I don't care for the last few seasons of South Park. It kind of bothers me, but that doesn't make me indifferent to South Park. I still love South Park.
Okay, so you're telling me that I hate Sunny, or what are you telling me?
I'm just kind of shooting down your arguments, basically, is what I'm doing. I'm just saying why are these even arguments? You seem exhausted, Vince. Buddhism, breathe. Breathe.
You're gonna throw Buddhism at me
I'm gonna do it till the end of time now, buddy.
Well, Jesus Christ, I'm so deflated now.
Like these
Who cares?
are interesting arguments that you bring up because I've never heard this stuff. I've never analyzed Sunny this much. I don't know that I've ever analyzed any show this much. So what are your other bullet points? I genuinely want to know. Because you're making good points, Vince. That's the point. I've already repeated my point several times, so go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go about it like this. Max Pride episode.
Max Pride.
Remember, it was like a finale. It might have been worse than Waiting for Big Mac. Because I don't know. Okay, well, it's a little touchy. I'll approach it like this. It's all about Mac finding his gay pride, right? Where he could finally come out and express himself, especially to his father at the end, right? And that's fine, but it did not fit the show in a lot of ways. The show never gets into that sort of like, oh, this is like deep sort of emotional whatever, and it always ends with a twist at the end where it's like, surprise, this was never going to happen. It's just a whatever, predictable twist. No, it ends very seriously with Mac crying on stage because his dad couldn't accept it, but I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Mac. Take away all the stuff that I feel about Rob. All these characters are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Realizing your sexuality, I didn't feel meant anything. Because Mac continued to be horrible. Why am I seeing him in this serious? Sorry. Why am I seeing him in this serious performance? And I don't know. It just wasn't.
I get what you're saying with that point. Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. Why should I care about this person's journey? He is an asshole, and he is an asshole. You're not wrong about that. But I think that's the point of the show. But they have been on the air for, what did we say, 16 seasons or whatever. So, I mean, there's certain angles they're going to explore it, and you're either going to love it or you're not,
True. Next. Well, actually, this was, I mentioned the anticlimactic endings. It kind of gets boring after a while. It's always like, oh, you thought Mac is finally banging this chick, and no, he's actually just making sex noises. Now, the twists are almost always funny, I suppose, but it's just, that it's not, nothing is what's presented. Like, oh, the title is always false, in some way, which is fine, but it's like a trick that keeps happening. It's very much like Rick and Morty, where it's like, okay, well, we're going to see these aliens. They're going to look cool. They're going to die by the family, and yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's like having the same guitar solo in every song or some shit. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it really. And then finally, I just have a question. What?
Formulaic.
Yes. That does get under my skin. The repetition and stuff like that. But I guess finally I'll ask this: have you guys listened to their podcast concerning their argument about the whole Irish season, the latest one?
That doesn't ring a bell, so I'm going to say no.
Well-
I've said it before. I'm way behind on podcasts, but is this like a recent episode?
Ooh. I heard about it recently, so I think it is.
Okay.
I watched the first, I don't know, what they covered of like the first season, maybe two. But after a while, I'm like, oh, Rob is not funny. Glenn is so full of hate. Like he hates everything. Holy shit. And Charlie is hilarious. But they finally had an argument about the Irish season where Mac was like, I wanted to do this whole thing where it's set in Ireland. And Charlie's like, that doesn't make any sense. Our thing is more episodic and stuff. Is it even going to be worth it? All this stuff that he questioned about it was confirmed in that actual season where I'm like, who cares? What? And why are we traveling during a pandemic to film in another? I don't know. Yeah. But you know what, though? I'm going to end this with an apology for just every damn thing.
Never apologize on this podcast. You don't have to apologize. It's just, I'm just trying to state an opposite viewpoint. Sorry. I just apologized. But it's just, Sunny is so iconic. It is officially in my top, like I did put some mental processing. It's in my top 10 shows of all time. I have decided. Just so much iconic stuff. It's painted my view of the world in a lot of ways. I mean, Frank Reynolds is the reason why when I die, you can throw me in the trash. You know what I mean? There's so much great stuff. You're not wrong. I'm sure there's a lot of wrong moves and there's a lot of formulaic stuff going on, but I love the show. I love it. John?
I don't think I've seen anything past like season 10 or 11.
Ooh.
Not because I like, oh, I hate this now or anything, but I just kind of got caught up at one point and then just never like started watching it again when the new season came back. And apparently I've done that for 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, like, one of my favorite episodes was one of the most recent ones I thought, which looking at now is back in season 10, the Charlie work episode, where it was filmed in a single take, him trying to pass the health inspection or whatever. Like, that was brilliant. I love that.
There is a lot of brilliant stuff on the show. I mean, the music is brilliant. I love the music. Rock flag and eagle. I mean, stomp, clap, stomp, clap, stomp, stomp, clap, stomp, clap. I mean, I could go on. I wrote down quite a few things because I didn't know where exactly you were gonna take this topic, and you didn't take it in the way I was thinking initially, but I did write down quite a few things. I mean, it's funny how over the seasons Dennis has gotten more and more psychotic and more sexual predatory. They just really lean into certain things. And yeah, I don't know if it's right to just keep going down that road, but it is what they're doing. And usually I love it. I don't know. Maybe I'm simple-minded, but it's funny shit. And when somebody says, Sonny is like Seinfeld, but on crack, I think that's pretty apt. I think that's exactly what it is. And it works. I'm not a big Seinfeld fan, but this show, Sonny, just takes it to the extreme. We'll save that for another podcast.
Oh my gosh. All
Vince.
right. Yeah. Because I was going to passionately respond, but yeah.
Go ahead. We have time to go on.
I'm just gonna tuck that deep inside me.
And then we're gonna have another podcast, and you're gonna apologize, and you'll try to stay calm.
All right. So hey, I don't know, any more, Sonny? We can move on. Holy shit, I did not mean for it to be so prolonged, but
no, that's fine. Yeah. I liked it. Like I said, I've never heard all those details. I've never seen somebody dive into the show like that before. So yes.
Well, I'm not going to say those two words that Matt hates, the M-O.
Okay. Well, I think the next two topics kind of go hand in hand. I think I'll just start I have a hate for coffee, and I feel like this might be the most controversial take we've ever had on this podcast. And not that I've wanted to do it for a while, but
Even when you
it's,
were coming out for white privilege.
that is not true. I did not come out for white privilege. But everybody seems to love coffee. And I'm exaggerating when I say everybody, but so many people love coffee, and I don't understand. I've had coffee a few times in my life. I've disliked it every single time. I would say with about the same amount of passion. It's never like, okay, this coffee was gross, and then the next time it's like, it's not quite as gross, and then it's okay. It's always bad. I've never had good coffee. Maybe the issue is I've never had good coffee. You know what I mean? Like maybe I've had bad coffee and that's the way it is. But it kind of bothers me the way society seems to revolve around coffee. It kind of bothers me that Starbucks is a thing. Like Starbucks grew into this giant conglomerate with 6, 7, 12, 20 stores in every single city. You know, that I just don't understand why everybody needs coffee in the morning, why people don't feel like they can get anything done unless they have coffee. Are people addicted to caffeine?
Yes.
There's a simple answer to that. Yes. So why, I think it would be a cool experiment to anybody out there that's addicted to caffeine to just not have coffee for several days in a row and come out the other end. And how are you feeling? Do you still crave coffee? Like I feel when I have caffeine, it's, you know, we've talked Diet Coke or whatever. Like I feel like I get the caffeine jolt from a Diet Coke, but I don't feel the urge to start my day slurping down caffeine. And I don't know if it's a healthy, unhealthy, whatever. Like I've done a little bit of research. Apparently there's really not a whole lot of evidence for any direction one way or the other as to whether coffee's good or bad for you. But I feel like the caffeine is something you can be addicted to. And I just don't think I just don't think people need caffeine when you come right down to it. Like caffeine is one of those things that you should have when you actually need a pick-me-up. It's not something that you should be starting every single day with. But my opinion, of course, what do you guys think?
Love coffee. Love the taste of it. I'm definitely addicted to caffeine in the sense that like if I don't have coffee by the afternoon, I'm feeling like really shitty. And I've thought like, should I conquer this caffeine addiction and, go off of it and, come out the other side, like you said. And then I'm just like, whatever. It doesn't hurt me to be addicted to caffeine, so I don't really care. I love espresso. I love drip coffee. I love cold press. Like literally like the taste of it, like it's not like something like, oh, choking this down, but I got to get my caffeine fix. Like I legit think it tastes good. On the other hand, I agree with your hate of coffee culture. Like, I think it's really annoying that like, oh, don't talk to me until I have my first cup. Or like, yeah, like I've been on conferences with stuff where, like before you like do anything with the people, you have to like, oh, well, let's go stand in this line for 20 minutes. It's like, okay, I'm not like going to do that, but like, I don't know. I, yeah, I think coffee can be really good. Like at our office, there's like a lot of coffee snobs. So we always buy like fancy beans and stuff and have a fancy machine and all that. So that definitely helps.
How How many people do you know? How many people do either of you know that just don't drink coffee? Like, like when it's ever come up in conversation, does everybody you know drink coffee?
No, definitely not.
Okay. Okay.
I think, yeah, most people that I know do drink coffee. Yeah, for sure. I don't, just because it hurts my heart.
Whoa.
It always seems to like pinch it or something. S- uh, so like cold frappuccinos are better. I think I like them cold, a cold drink. Um, but even more than that, because of the taste, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent to the taste, or I've acquired it, or whatever it's called. But for me, the golden ticket was energy drinks, baby. Yeah, that was the thing where I'm like, doesn't hurt my heart. I fucking, I definitely have a giddiness to me now. There's a spring in my step.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's that whole chest pain thing. Like that's really bizarre. Have you done any Googling or anything as to why that would be?
I'm afraid. Afraid.
Well, I mean, coffee's such a safe substance, right? Especially compared to an energy drink. Sorry, Vince, but I
Yeah,
mean,
I know.
So yeah, it must not be the caffeine. Like, is it the acid or something of it?
That might be it. I don't know. I never
Because
did look
I
into
know
it.
like cold brewed coffee is less acidic than like hot brewed, basically.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because like I said, I would drink those they sell them at stores, the Starbucks Frappuccinos. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, those are good. But yeah, caffeine and coffee to me are like two different things because I'm like, I love caffeine, but I don't like coffee at all. Well, I have enjoyed a cup or two, but yeah.
so are you drinking energy drinks every day?
No, I've cut down quite a lot. But it's like, I don't know. I bought like a case of Coca-Cola and one can. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling something, but it's a weird energy as well. I don't know, just energy drinks spoke to me. It was just so like, oh, where have you been my entire fucking life? Where were you in the third grade when I, like all this stuff. So that's a topic, energy drinks sometime. Yeah.
Mhm,
All
mhm.
right. Do you like tea? Either of you?
I want to get into tea. That's what I want to get into, but yeah, I haven't tried enough.
I don't really drink tea. I drink iced tea, sweetened or unsweetened. I like it. So I've never, I've never, I don't know that I've ever had a hot cup of tea before, to be perfectly honest with you.
Wow.
I've
Okay.
never had anybody offer it. I've never made it myself. That feels weird. At some point, I must have had a cup of tea, but
Never gone to the Chinese buffet and had a nice cup of oolong?
no, no, I
Oh
haven't.
man.
Vince, you ever try it? Chinese
No.
food.
Yeah, but no, not the that's a good fucking point. I mean, they're known for their teas over there, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, like a big thing when I was in college, like in between when I had like time between classes, I'd go to like the Chinese buffet like by the campus and get like a little pot of tea and just sip on that while eating the buffet and really nice.
Is there a tea that I might try to get that boost? Like ginseng tea or whatever? That's a thing, right? Or green
So
tea, I think.
yeah, so there's like different kinds of tea, of course. There's different like varieties of the plant and then like different roasts of the tea leaves. Um, so when you have like black tea or green tea or like oolong, that's actually like the plant called tea. But then there's like herbal teas, so which don't actually have tea in them, which is confusing. So like ginseng or chamomile or like peppermint tea, like those might not actually have tea in them.
Wow.
Or yeah. Um,
Why are they called tea?
yeah, I don't know, just because you prepare them in the same way, I guess.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. You can get like there's all kinds of different flavors and varieties you can get. You can get some green teas that are really just like kind of light and tart, and some of them that like taste like grass.
Ooh.
Whatever
fave.
you're into, you can find something.
Hmm.
So Matt, you don't like, if you were to get that boost, you just don't like it? You're like, no, I like to be even keeled and whatever. Like you don't enjoy it?
I mean, I have days where it's the afternoon or it's night and I'm just kind of starting to feel sluggish or what have you. And then I have a can of Diet Coke and I'm feeling good. I can go for the rest of the night. And that's going to lead into John's topic. But yeah, I'm working late at night and all I feel like I just need, like tonight, actually, I kind of mixed it with some rum, but I opened up a Diet Coke and I was feeling a little bit sluggish. A couple of drinks get loosey for this thing, but
Are you highly affected by caffeine? Because
No,
like
yeah.
I could go get like a latte right now and then still go to bed like after this and fall asleep just
I
fine.
think that might be a pretty rare thing. You might be a superhero, John.
Yeah, you're passionless man.
Well, like I said, like I can have a Diet Coke and I can feel the pick me up, but I think that might come with, I don't have a Diet Coke every day, or I don't have caffeine every single day, and I'm definitely not drinking 3, 4, 6 of them. So I don't know if everybody feels the same way. Like again, you wake up and you have your 2, 3 cups of coffee or whatever, you're getting that jolt,
Whoa.
but are you really feeling the pick me up, or is it psychology, physiology? Like what exactly is going on? You're just so used to it. Do you feel any different? Like I feel genuinely different if I have some caffeine in me. I can sense it. I don't know where I'm going at with this line of questioning, but
Yeah, I don't like feel different when I drink it unless I like drink way too much or something. But like I don't know, it's just more like the ritual of the thing. Like you fire up the coffee maker, hear those beans getting wet.
oh, I'm getting wet right now. I like that word, ritual. It is a ritual, right? Like
Yeah.
crawl out of bed and you get the coffee going, right? Or maybe you have it on a timer and the coffee's all ready for you, you know? Like every time we have people visit our house, whether it's friends or my dad or whoever it is, the coffee maker always has to come out. We do have a coffee maker in our house. It just stays up in this top cabinet in our kitchen just for special occasions when we have guests, and then it comes out and it always gets used. I don't get it.
Does your wife so your wife doesn't drink coffee either? Or?
She doesn't drink coffee either, no.
Oh, okay. Was that one of your things where you're like, I will not date a woman who smokes?
Well, actually, you got me thinking now. So I don't know that she religiously drank coffee or anything like that when we met, but I do know she would occasionally drink that kind of stuff. But it just, like, I think, we were together for a long time and I just never had coffee and she didn't feel the need to have coffee every single day. So that's just kind of the way, like, we've never actually had a conversation. Like, do you want coffee or do you miss coffee? That's just kind of the way it went.
Maybe you didn't have to have that talk because she's like, he looks at me a certain way. He's almost saying like, I have way too much energy right now. Way too much passion for this man.
Wait, I was going awe, but then I realized, wait a minute, this could be bad. So maybe I should have went awe. You give me all the caffeine I need. John, you want to jump in with your topic?
Sure. Yeah, I love waking up early and getting up early in the morning.
Boo.
And actually making coffee is not typically the first thing I do. So on days where I go to the office, in the winter anyway, I'll get up at a little before 5:30, get on the first bus that goes downtown, go do a half hour in like the workout center in my work building, take a shower, then start up the coffee maker in the office. But yeah, I don't know. I just love how, like, when you get up early, you can get stuff done that you don't want to do because your brain doesn't know that you don't want to do it yet.
Oh, it's another trick.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel like I can control the amount of sleep I get better by getting up early because I just know go to bed early because I'm going to get up at such and such time. So you're controlling it from the beginning of it. I don't know. I feel like you can get a lot, like for my work day, like they don't set my hours. Like I can just work when I want. So I usually, like start at 7, done before 4. Just really nice. Then, there's still a lot of time in like the afternoon and evening to do stuff.
Mhm.
And
So you said you're getting
daylight hours.
daylight hours. So you said you're getting up at 5:30. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Or when I work from home, usually get up. I don't know. I don't set an alarm then, but I get up between 6 and 7 usually.
So how many hours of sleep are you getting on average, would you say?
8-ish.
Really? Getting up
Yeah.
at 5:30? It's
Yeah.
almost your bedtime. We should probably wrap this podcast up.
Usually when we're recording, it's the latest I stay up all week for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
wild party animal.
That's right.
So
And like I've gone through phases in my life where I was a night owl and I was definitely getting less sleep at that time and was definitely less healthy at that time. But yeah, like Ben Franklin or whoever said, "See, I'm hedging my bets because I hate misquotes."
or whoever.
Early to bed, early to rise, etc.
Early bird gets the worm, right?
Yeah.
So do you think do you believe there's some health benefits to getting up early, exposing yourself to the sun more than other people? I don't know. Is there some health benefit?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think like overall amount of sleep is going to be way more important than what time, like which hours those are that you're getting the sleep. I could see like being like experiencing more daylight while you're awake maybe would help. I don't know if you're actually out in it, maybe.
Vitamin D or what
Yeah.
have you.
Yeah.
Well, Vince, you work third shift, right?
Yeah, we both work nights, right?
What's your typical routine as far as how much sleep you get and when you're waking up, or is it all over the place?
Oh boy, how much sleep? See, that's a whole thing that kind of emerged, where it's like only 5 hours. Like, and I'm not feeling bad if I'm only getting 5 hours. It's really weird, because for the most part, I try and get those 8 hours. But sometimes I'm like wide awake after 5. I don't know. It's very bizarre. But so I don't know, waking up at 7 a.m. typically if I'm going to go to work at 10. Yeah. But it is hard still going to sleep when the sun is out and you're like, I got to do stuff. And yeah, that does suck.
Do you find that you end up catching up on sleep? Like you say, like 5 hours seems kind of hard to believe most nights. Do you find yourself catching up, getting 10 hours of sleep, once a week or what have you?
Yeah, I mean, I will have a night where I just like sleep extra long and it will feel good. But again, I don't feel bad if I'm just with 5. It's very weird. I think I looked it up too. I was like, is this bad? What's wrong with me and stuff like that. But they were like,
my heart hurts.
On a Valentine's Day. But yeah, though when I did work during the daytime. Overall, I liked waking up early, John. Like, there's some feeling of like, all right, let's get the day started, and nice sunrise somewhere. Everyone's a little like, or they're like, oh my God, I just had my coffee. It's
Oh, that
like,
reminds me. There's a coffee mug in my work office that says, "What do we want? Coffee. When do we want it? I'll fucking cut you."
that's awesome.
That's great. I always find it difficult to wake up early. I find it really difficult to go to bed at 11 p.m. and wake up at 7 a.m. Just something I have a hard time. And that's, if I'm doing my math right, that's 8 hours. But I don't see, I've gotten this work routine where I'm working in the middle of the night because sometimes it's required, but it's just like that's how the schedule works out too. So I prefer, staying up until 3 and then waking up at 9:30 or 10 o'clock. I feel like I can get out of bed quicker if I know that part of the day is already gone. It's time to get out of bed. I don't know exactly, but that's typically the way my weekdays go. Bed at 3 o'clock or so and waking up at 10 and going from there.
When you go to bed, does it take you a while to fall asleep, or you pretty much zonk out right away?
I don't think. I think I'm pretty good at falling asleep right away. You guys?
Oh, I'm the best at it.
Sweet. You can just shut that switch off. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Bitch, you don't know my sleep routines. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I do miss it. I think I brought this up before, where it's like I'm kind of getting over working at nights, though. Like, I really do enjoy that morning rise, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
I don't feel guilty about the way things work out. I know there's like a certain generation that would just kind of frown upon. Well, but then, I mean, some of that generation would have to work third shift, right? Like somebody's got to work third shift somewhere, right? But I think there is that stigma about being up late and then waking up later in the morning. I don't know.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm saying I like it for me. Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah. You're not representative of the generation I'm talking about, but
all right. Here's what I hate, though. Some stores don't open till like forever. So like you get up at 6, you're like, oh man, I want to go to like the record store or something. Like noon. Like, who are these people? Like,
how early are you waking up? The 90s? A record store?
Yeah, I was gonna say the record store.
That's early, John.
Come on, you've seen me holding up records for all your albums you say you like.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
All right. Well, we all kind of have our extremes, sounds like, as far as sleep schedules go. But have you, well, you said, John, that you've not always, but you've kind of gone through periods where you're kind of a night owl. So that was earlier in your life, you said, I think.
Yeah, like when I got my first job out of college, I think my schedule was to start at 10 and get done at 7 or whatever the math works out to. And like without anyone like really telling me to, I just kind of started coming in earlier and earlier, like slowly over time until I was like, yeah, like basically 8 a.m. till whenever, and then 7 a.m. And I just much enjoy that a lot better. But
so you actually said you felt less healthy. Like, in what ways did you feel less healthy, do you think?
Like, I mean, that the less healthy was definitely just more from less sleep. Like, I'm just able to get more sleep when I'm living this kind of schedule. But like, I don't know, just feeling kind of crappy all the time. I don't know, like getting colds and like that kind of stuff
Oh.
more often.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
I mean, I had COVID a few months ago, or I don't know, a year ago, whatever it was. But other than that, like I haven't even had like a cold in like the last 5 years.
Wow.
Well, and that's based on your sleep schedule. Well, I really don't get sick either, and I've got kids traipsing in stuff from
Oh
school
yeah.
and stuff like that. I this winter I had a cough for a day or two, and I think that was about it. A little bit of a sore throat, whatever the sickness was. Whereas my kids are constantly sick. Well, one of them is, and Amy's constantly sick. So I don't know. I don't know. I think that's probably just regular old immune system and whatnot, more so than sleep schedule. I don't know. I don't know how important. I think you're right. I think it's more important to get the 7 to 8 hours of sleep than it is when you get the sleep.
And you know what I'm sick of? This podcast. So let's end it.
Goodbye.
Like, subscribe, comment. This was a Few Goldilock Bears podcast with Vincent Cloud.
John Nemeth.
And Matt Hagen.
And I'm slowly reaching for the button to turn it off.
We didn't get the fourth topic
So-
yet.
Oh shit! What is it, real quick? We have seconds. Seconds.
We can. Well, I don't know how your editing process is, but we can slice it in there after whoever
Yourself.
yourself.
Should-
We can
should-
speculate on it.
Should have been recording that actual conversation. It's all gold. Gold, Jerry. Gold. All right. Oh yeah. I don't know if we're gonna. I'm gonna edit this in some place or not. But we have a fourth topic, and it's a mystery.
The mystery topic.
Yeah.
John is bringing the mystery topic this week.
All right, guys. I hope you're sitting down. Your socks are fully attached because this mystery is gonna blow them off.
He's talking so slow and it's building the tension.
So, what's with all these UFOs, huh?
UFOs? Oh,
There was a IFO, the Chinese spy balloon.
what is an IFO?
Identified.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Flying.
Object. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, there's one over Canada, there's one over Alaska, there's one over the Great Lakes. We're shooting them all down now. But we haven't found them yet after we shot them down, or so they're telling us.
Well, they always shoot them down over water, right?
Right.
mhm.
What
Yes.
is that? Is that so they don't like fall on an interstate or somebody's house? Or
Yeah.
I would imagine that's why they do that.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, Rain Man. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we had is it Goldie look behind the scenes? I don't know. But there's a local podcast website or whatever. And I was like, oh, who's on this? Who gets to have a platform, a voice? And I clicked on someone's and he's like, I'm from Eau Claire. We're down to earth around here, and that Chinese spy balloon should have got shot down immediately, but nope, they waited till it got over some water, shoot it down after the Chinese learned everything they could from us. And this is typical from the Biden administration. I'm like, typical? Never had to deal with this. Never. But, and then
Oh
I was
man.
like,
If there's going to be one thing from Biden's legacy, it's going to be he always waited too long to shoot down Chinese spy balloons.
but the cherry on top for me, where I'm like, this guy, he's on this website. He's like, and you know who predicted all this shit? Glenn Beck. I'll tell you that. And I'm like, oh, all right, here we go. But it's very expensive to get on that website. I don't think we're gonna do it right now.
There's something funny about just the term Chinese spy balloon, right? It's like, okay, so we live in this advanced age where technology is taking over everything, but then just some Chinese spy balloon can just kind of float over and nobody really notices it until it's too late, right? No, they shot, like they apparently when it was identified, or not identified, but they noticed something. There's a gigantic balloon and we don't know what it is. So I guess they let it go for a couple more days and then they shot it down off the coast of South Carolina, I guess. But then all of a sudden, that kind of kicked things into high gear, and all of a sudden we're identifying all these things. I think that's what this is, right? It's like, okay, all of a sudden we're on high alert, and we notice that there's a few of these other things going on, and everybody's looking out like the Chinese are spying on us. What the hell is that? I think that's what's going on. Like these objects could have been in the air for weeks or months or whatever. I don't know how fast they're moving across America, but I really think that's what's going on. It's a very simple case of we're on high alert, right?
Or
All right, conspiracy theories are coming out.
the best one I heard was that the aliens are noticing how advanced our AI is getting, and they're starting to take more concrete steps to step in and guide us in the right direction here.
That's amazing. I actually had a similar and it was going to be more like a joke or something, but I'm like, I remember in Star Trek they're like, oh, first contact is human beings create light speed for the first time, so then that's why the Vulcans show up. They're like, hey man, you're one of us now, but then I was like, wait a minute, what if AI is one of those things where like, hey man, we have to deal with AI as well, and we're gonna help you out and shit like that. That's what I was kind of thinking, but I haven't heard any of these theories at all about that. But did you hear about the Chinese saying like, yeah, well, you guys do that to us all the time? What the hell?
I'm sure we do.
Sure.
But
yeah,
maybe not balloons, but
and maybe ours don't get shot down. That's the difference.
USA.
yeah, we use satellites. We're in the 21st century, man.
Okay, hold on though. So it's been confirmed. Like honestly, I've barely looked into this. I mean, is it confirmed that that was a Chinese balloon? It maybe not a spy, but it was from the Chinese, or what?
I guess I mean, they did not admit that by any means publicly.
I think I saw something that said it is like the Chinese made a statement saying it was a weather balloon.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. That just happened to float out of out of its range or what have you. So I know the Chinese have made statements. So it seems pretty clear that, and even before it was shot down, it was called a Chinese spy balloon. So somehow they knew it was a Chinese spy balloon. But I think they just recovered. I think they just recovered the remains in the ocean today. So I guess we'll see what the findings are. So maybe next week we'll have some more alien conspiracies or whatever.
But then the following 3 events were known to be smaller in size than that first one, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So something.
And those are completely unidentified.
Mm-hmm.
As far as China, Russia, aliens.
I heard that one of them was octagonal in shape.
Right, we're being attacked by shapes.
Yeah. They're telling us to stop the AI.
I don't know how we can make this more clear.
I don't know. I mean, again, like I don't know who exactly would put an octagonal. Are they all balloons? Like they all kind of have to float up there. So there's some type of balloon. So I don't know who would put that up there, but it feels like just anybody could put anything up there and just let it float away. Like some kid can let his little balloon go from the fair, and it's no, but it's kind of the same premise. Like anybody can release.
Oh man, remember Balloon Boy?
We don't know.
Oh, Balloon Boy, of
I
course.
don't know what Balloon Boy is. What's that?
It was that hoax where there was that balloon. I don't even remember where the balloon came from, but this balloon took off, and this family like said that their son was in it, and they made this big thing about how they had to like rescue this boy from the balloon. And yeah,
I think I remember. How long ago was this?
Oh
oh, I don't
gosh.
know,
20,
15, 20 years.
20? Okay, I think I do remember this because it didn't it go on for a week or more
Yeah,
or weeks possibly.
from let's say he's still up there.
Yeah, I think I do remember that.
I've also okay, so like there's been a lot more sightings of like legit like crazy ass, spacecraft and stuff in general. But then they're like, well, it's because we've stopped trying to say like, don't bring that shit up. No one believes you. You know what I mean? Now they're like, no, tell us now. So now more military people and shit or Air Force people or whatever, they're like, yep, we're seeing them again. There's Sarge, when before they're like, I don't want to hear that shit. Sure, maybe you did see something, but we're not going to report it and we're going to look goofy, So yeah, that to me, that is annoying. That was the idea for the military and the government. They're like, no,
Oh, okay. I see where you're
right?
going with this.
That seems
Yeah.
so stupid to me. I don't know.
Well, just from the perspective of a Chinese spy balloon, like who the hell knows what it is? Like we should be taking like a military person is not hallucinating. Like we should be kind of taking things seriously, especially if we're in the military, right? I don't know.
Well, did you guys see? This was a couple months ago, I think. The National Intelligence Manager for Aviation, like a U.S. government department, their logo has like a UFO on it now.
Oh,
Yeah, it has like a jet, a plane, glider or something, and like a flying saucer.
oh shit.
So what does this all mean? What does this mean? There's going to be a new era of transparency between the government and letting us know about aliens. Does this mean they're going to open up Area 51 to tourists? What does this mean?
Oh my gosh. Remember when it was like viral? They're like, we're gonna storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
That was fucking preparation for fucking January 6th. Because
I
like
never thought of it like that. That's
yeah, for sure, man. Oh God, that's annoying.
Oh crap.
Well, I think we kind of peaked there.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't know what this is. We'll see if more details come out in the coming weeks.
I want I'm ready to see some fucking aliens, man. I'm ready.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Oh my God, if they could be like, ack ack. They're like, they come in peace. I'll be
Mars
the guy
attack.
with the dove that came in peace. That is my fucking favorite scene from any movie. They came in peace. Awesome.
Shoot it down.
On the side note, I really enjoy podcasts as like just the everyman historical marker thing. So like, like we're talking about what we know of this from a thing that happened this like within a week. I like listening back to like full podcast series and just hearing like them talking about news and like just like the beginning of COVID is kind of hilarious to listen to because it's like, oh man, we're on lockdown for 2 weeks. Like I'm so sick of this.
I mentioned COVID like in week 1 or week 2 on a podcast, and I cracked a joke. I think we all did, but I don't know. I remember cracking jokes during 9/11, like that's how inappropriate I am. So
we were high schoolers.
yeah,
We didn't know any better. I remember that too. Yeah.
My teacher finally was like, "Stop it! This is real," and I'm like, "Oh, shit. All right." I think it was me and Tim Riley, man, or Tim R. Yeah, we were just like we were funny too because we didn't really grasp the reality. I mean, it was so hard to do so, and it was on a little black and white TV. Like the screen was that big. I don't know. It was hard to take anything serious.
When did you go to school? What? This was 2001. What the hell are you talking about? I remember having to go to the pit. The pit was the place where they had all the chairs and then the big screen, and it could hold, I don't know, 150 kids or whatever with the chairs. So I remember going to the pit to watch the footage of the two towers. And
what? I didn't know that. They showed the footage?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What class were you in where they had a black and white TV?
Miss McKevitz. Miss McKevitz, she has the I don't know, what is she, like a study hall person, basically? Right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And
I remember going to the library for some reason.
So were they playing it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I remember being in social studies, I think. No, so like I heard people whispering in the hallways as I was going from class to class, or people were talking like, what the hell is going on? And then I believe I ended up in social studies, which was maybe appropriate. And we ended up going to the pit, and then we were watching the footage for 50 minutes or however long the class was. And then the rest of the day was a blur. But why the hell are we talking about this? Yeah, never forget. Where were you when the world stopped turning?
And you know what I'm sick of? This podcast. So let's end it.
Goodbye.
Like, subscribe, comment. This was A Few Goldilock Bears podcast with Vincent Cloud,
John Nemeth,
and Matt Hagen.